So in Remnant 2, we've taken a look at a lot of different damage-based builds. So what I wanted to do in this video is take a look at a regen build. It's probably going to be better to use this in co-op because there's not a gigantic damage output, but it does still survive apocalypse difficulty. So if we jump into the build, we are running the summoner as our primary archetype, and we've got the flyer minions. Our secondary archetype is the invader, and we're using the void cloak. Then in terms of the armor, we've got the full Leto Mark II armor, although I think the Labyrinth gauntlets actually provide a little bit better armor, so we'll switch out for those. And then in terms of the relic, we're using the Tranquil Heart because it passively grants 2 health regen per second, but on use it doubles all your health regen for 15 seconds. And you'll see that we've got healing effectiveness, we've got health and damage reduction on the relic. Then our primary weapon is going to be the Crescent Moon Bow, and that is because it outputs a lot of damage without you needing to buff the damage even further. And not only that, the mod for it is Moonlight Barrage. It empowers the bow for 15 seconds. Arrows are going to apply moonlight to enemies for 3 seconds, and enemies struck by it whilst moonlit release a moon essence that returns 1 arrow. It heals you for 5% of your max health, and it grants 15% fire and reload speed for 5 seconds. Basic shots automatically become charged, and manually charged are going to fire 2 arrows. Then I've got the supercharger on it because it increases your charge speed by 30%. But not only that, when that's level 10, charged primary shots of bows are going to gain 15% crit chance. Then for the melee, it doesn't matter whatsoever. I've just put on the spectral blade so that we've got like this blue sort of glow to every weapon that we're running, because in the handgun slot, we are running the Sorrow, and that is because the mod for it is called Eulogy. It recalls the bolts, which deal 90 damage when pulled from a target. So you shoot the enemies, you then use your mod, and it recalls them bolts, dealing extra damage. And when it strikes the targets on the return, the recalled bolts are going to grant 2% of your max health. But not only that, the recalled bolts can also overfill the weapon by up to +5, and any additional bolts are going to be returned to the reserves. And it's also got a really low mod power requirement of 600. And then I put Slayer on it because reloading increases the damage of the weapon's next shot by 20. And it also increases your reload speed. And because it's only got a 5 magazine, it's going to reload relatively often. Then in terms of the rings, we have the tightly wound coil. When we spend 75% or more of our current mag, we gain a shield for 10% of our max health for 5 seconds. It doesn't stack, but because we are firing 1 arrow from what you would call a magazine, we get 10% shield every time we fire. Obviously, it doesn't stack, so it's literally just 10%, but it's nice to have that shield there all the time. Then I've got the Bright Steel Ring, which is going to let us use the fastest roll regardless of our encumbrance, which is really good because our weight is 90. But then we have Endira's Endless Loop. After sprinting for 2 seconds, we are going to gain 1.5 health regen per second until we stop sprinting. Then to buff up the health even further, we've got Dead King's Memento, which increases it by 15. And then we are running the Full Moon Circlet, so our ranged damage is going to lifesteal 3% base damage dealt, and at full health, the ranged damage is increased by 20%. So with our armor, we've got a 65.7% damage reduction. And in terms of the traits, we've got regrowth, so that's health regen. We've got the evade window increased by 30% for the invader. Fortify for the armor effectiveness by 50%. Triage to buff our healing effectiveness. Swiftness so that we buff up our move speed. We've got vigor maxed out. We've got bark skin maxed out for the reduction of incoming damage. Siphoner, which is going to grant us lifesteal. Blood bond, which means our summons absorb 8% of the damage that we would take. And then we've got 3 points in spirit and 1 in expertise because those are default with these archetypes. And there's one other thing I would recommend running with a build like this, and that is Mudtooth's Tonic. Each one's going to cost you 500 scrap, but it increases your max health by 25, and it's going to last an hour and stay in effect after death. So that is the build altogether. It's a really, really cool one, but obviously it doesn't output a lot of damage. The damage is okay, but it's a lot more about survivability. And if you have a look at that red bar at the bottom, our health pool is massive. It's actually 195.5. So basically 200 HP is what we've got. and our regen is rapid. So what we're going to do, we're in the expanding glades. We're going to jump into a boss fight. It's on apocalypse difficulty, so we are going to check out the survivability. Here we go. So we've got archer versus archer, and obviously the damage isn't great. We've already taken half damage, so I'm just going to run around. Look at the regen, the health coming back up. Okay, where have you gone? Right in front of me. I'm going to charge the bow just so we get double shots. Please stop hitting me with that. And you'll see, even though we're not dealing a lot of damage, we are surviving, which is what this build is all about. So if you're playing in co-op, there's 3 of you or even 2 of you, you're going to be able to stay alive whilst your teammates output the damage. You're going to be the tank of the team. Right, I think now's my chance. Get these bad boys out. I probably should have done that way earlier. And that just in case I get hit. So now I've got the summons out. Got a little bit more confidence. They are dealing some nice damage. Okay, so the boss fight takes forever. Just purely because the damage is so low. But survivability is incredible. So if I just try and deal with these for a second. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's good target practice doing this, to be fair. See, and when we're not running around, the health regen's actually a lot lower on this build. So it's going to be a lot more beneficial to actually run around. If this guy don't keep hitting me. 1 hit from that guy when he does that attack, and it takes over half health. So yeah, this fight's taking way longer than I even anticipated. But it's doable. On apocalypse difficulty, with a build that doesn't output too much damage, it's still doable. And that's purely because of the health regen. Oh, I just killed my own minion. Oh, that was a nice 1750 headshot there. 1500. And there we go. Apocalypse difficulty, boss down with a regen build for an archer. So yeah, with this build, it's all about regenerating your health and having a little bit of shield. It's nothing to do with the damage output. Is really, really low. And just quickly, if we have a look at the advanced stats, I know some of these are a little bit bugged, but it's saying that we've got 45% stamina cost, 33 stamina regen, 15% damage reduction, so our total is 80.7, but it only goes up to a max of 80. Our skill cooldowns are 2%, crit damage is 50, range damage is 20, healing effectiveness is 70%. So you've basically just got a bunch of healing, not much damage whatsoever, and that's why I'd recommend running this in a group. You can obviously do it solo. I've just taken down a boss solo on apocalypse difficulty. And overall, I think it's an absolutely fantastic tank build. You get to use one of the bows in the game that's going to also help out with your healing and stuff. But not only that, with this, you can wear the heaviest armor, giving you the biggest damage reduction and still do your light rolling. So in my opinion, it's a really, really good archer regen build, if you want to call it that, in Remnant 2. And on that note, we are going to leave the video there. If you enjoyed it, leaving a like is appreciated. If you wish to support me further as a creator, there are links in the description. Let me know your thoughts about the video in the comments. And if you want to watch more, you can click the video on screen. All support on the channel is greatly appreciated, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for watching.